In this video, I'm going to be breaking down an 82 unit apartment building that my team and I are buying. My name is Antoine Martel. I bought and sold over 1,500 single family houses in the last 10 years, and I bought some apartment buildings along the way. But this is by far the largest apartment building that I've ever bought. And I'm going to be breaking down how I found the deal, how I underwrote the deal, how I raised money for the deal, and eventually what ended up happening on this property. So with that being said, let's get into it. All right, so this is the property. This is actually the real address and the real property. 2690 West Boston. And I'll go through all the numbers and all the financials later on, but here's kind of like the full numbers, full breakdown, full analysis. Starting from the top though, I want to first just chat about how we found this deal. So as multifamily investors, when we're out there looking for deals, we set up searches on websites like Crexi and LoopNet. And Crexi and LoopNet, you may think that there isn't a lot of inventory there. There's no inventory. The brokers don't list properties there. That's all bullshit. Most of the brokers that we've chatted with and spoke to over the last couple of years, no matter when they get a deal, they still will post it on Crexi and LoopNet because they have something new under contract. And if their current buyers list doesn't want to buy that property, they can always go to the Crexi or LoopNet leads. And just as free marketing for them, right? They get to go and post it up on the website and kind of just get new leads coming in that might otherwise not see that property. So it would behoove them to not just post the property up on Crexi or LoopNet, get some new leads coming in the door. Okay, so what we do is we'll go to Crexi and LoopNet. We will set up searches so you can just find stuff for, I tried to find it, but I think they took it down now. For sale, just say it's multifamily properties, right? Apartment buildings, and then you can set up where you want this to be. So you want this to be in Detroit, Michigan. And what we'll do is we'll just go through every single listing in Detroit. We'll remove the boundary here. You'll be able to see every single listing in Detroit that's a multifamily, and then you can set up different things here, and you can save this search. That's literally how we're getting a lot of the deal volume that we have right now, is just by going through this process and setting up a Crexi search. Okay, so that is how we found this deal. We found this deal online. As the day that it was listed, we'd reach out to the listing agent to get some information about that. Now, the reason why we like this deal is we're very numbers driven. So this is, some of the numbers that we were thinking about. So this building, just for context, 82 units, $3.5 million. We had some closing costs, acquisition fee, loan fees, exterior renovations of 150 grand, interior renovations of $400,000. And then we were going to get a loan for 70% of it for $2.6 million. And we needed to raise $1.7 million. So pretty much how my team and I do this, just for context on this syndication, is we need to raise 1.7 million. My team and I will come up with 10%, 5%. So we'll come up with like $100,000 to $150,000 and put it into this deal. And then we're going to go and raise the rest of the capital from outside investors. Okay. So essentially what we're doing here is we're buying it for $3 million, right? If you go to the unit mix, you can see that the rents on this property are, around $650, $725, $820, right? And we're going to be able to increase the rents over time to be these numbers over here. Okay. So the goal was to buy these units, get them leased up here, and then move increase the rents over time to be the market rents. All right. So based on this renovation, this much money in renovation, 560 grand in renovation, the goal was to increase the rents from this to this. Okay. Now, when we were under contract looking to buy this property, and for any property that we buy, we also want to check vacancy. So the problem on this property was that it was only like 60% occupied. And what we're noticing in Detroit, Michigan as a whole is that a lot of these properties in Michigan just have vacancy issues as a whole. And so you want to really buy a property that doesn't have those vacancy issues, because if you buy a property that is 60% occupied, you're not going to be able to get this good loan here. Okay. The lenders that we're using to finance these deals are Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, right? They have $1 million loan minimums. And then with that loan minimum, you have to be 90% occupied. Okay. And by the way, all these numbers are just an example of kind of what's going on, our quick little analysis. This is just a quick and dirty analysis spreadsheet that we have to kind of underwrite these deals. Okay. Now, moving over to kind of the pro forma, you can see the rents increase over time. We have vacancy and maintenance at 7%. We have operating expenses, annual debt service, and then net cash flow. So you can see that the cash flow of the property is low in the first year, but then it gets closer to 10 to 11%, which is pretty good. And then here's a full breakdown of what we're seeing and what we're just anticipating on the expenses annually, right? So 50 grand in property tax, 25 grand in insurance, property management at 7.5, cleaning, utilities, repairs and maintenance, landscaping, and other. Okay, so this gets us to around 50% of gross operating income, which you pretty much want to be around 50%. If something is like 60 or 70%, it's probably too high. And then if something is like 30 to 40%, it's probably too low. Okay, so this is a good rule of thumb to be right at 50%. Okay, and now with all of this, we kind of are expecting to raise 1.7 million bucks, right? The investors are going to make this much money, and we want this to be 15% for our investors. Right now it's at 11%. So this is them owning 70% profit share. So what we're thinking about doing is giving them 80% profit share, making a lower offer of the property. That would get the IRR up for our investors who are raising money from around 16%. Okay. So this is kind of how the deal works. Super high level structure about how we found the deal, how we underwrote the deal. And pretty much what we do to go and raise this money is we go and create a fund. We file that fund with the SEC. We do a Reg D offering. This Reg D offering is for accredited investors only. So people have to make over 200 grand a year to be able to invest into this fund. And if they do, they're able to invest in this fund. And then we will pretty much make this Reg D offering, raise money through that, through a pool of people. Each person invests 50 to 100 grand or more. And then we raise money from 10, 15, 20 people, put it all together, buy the asset, and we manage it for 5 years. Okay. The plan for all these properties is typically to stabilize the property if it's not already in the first 12 months, hold it for year 2, 3, 4, and then exit it in year 5. Okay, so that's kind of like the game plan for the properties that we're trying to buy in this space. And I'm going to be posting another video coming up here in the next couple weeks, hopefully, around kind of like what our buy box is. Like, what kind of deals are we looking for? What am I noticing here in 2025? And kind of making these videos just to show you guys what I'm up to, because there's nothing really for me to sell you on. This is me just showing you exactly what I have going on, what I'm doing, how I'm finding these deals, how I'm underwriting this, how the numbers are breaking down, why I like it, all that kind of stuff. So story time. Put this deal under contract. We went out there to visit it, to do a walkthrough. Okay, we like the numbers, right? As you can see, the numbers are pretty damn good. Like we can get good financing on it. Right, the vacancy is pretty good. We think we can sell it into the future for a 5.3% sale. So we're buying it for 3.2. We're all in for 4 million. We can sell it for 5.5 in 5 years. Pretty damn good, right? Good returns for the investor. Again, our target is 15%. We flew out there. We booked the trip. Me, Hayato, Eric, my team members, we flew out there to go and walk it. And this is kind of like the map. So this is where the property is, right? You have downtown Detroit here, midtown Detroit here. You have Woodbridge, which is like very much up and coming. Like all of this is new construction here. Okay. Then as you go up here, this is like a beautiful, amazing building called the Fisher Building right here. It's a historic landmark. You have like a Boston Edison historical district, which has like $1 million houses, right? And for us, 2690. For us, we were like, holy shit, this is like 1 block away from like this is literally the historic district right here. And we were like, wow, it's 1 block away from the historic district. You got the Durfee Innovation Society right there. Like, damn, this area is good. Let me show you guys why we backed out of the deal. Okay, so this is the property here, right? Looks good. You got an enclosed parking lot. That's literally like the Boston Edison Historic District over here. Okay, look across the street, completely vacant land. Okay, what you don't notice so much here is all the trash. So like we came down this street right here. We turned left here, right on this corner, which doesn't look very good. You turn left here, you see all of this, and this is not as much trash as there was when we went there. The amount of trash on this street was absurd. And like we were under contract, we liked the numbers, everything looked great. We go turn on the street, we're like, holy shit, we need to cancel the inspection. That's how fucking bad it was. I have never had that with an apartment building. And like when you're looking at this, you don't really know. Now I do. Now I notice the trash because I'm kind of pointing it out. But when you're like this, you're kind of like, oh, okay, cool. It's an empty lot. Maybe they're doing construction. Maybe it's like ready to be, they're going to start construction on it. Okay, we drove down here. We're like, damn, the building looks nice. Damn, parking lot. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is there so much trash? Look at that. You can see it. You can kind of see it here. Why is there so much trash? Why is there so much trash? Okay, and then we go over here, and there literally was like, this dumpster was like overflowing with trash. And then you go here. I mean, we had already seen enough. This building looks amazing, right? Like, just look at this. Looks great. You're like, damn, I'll buy that. And you turn around and you're kind of like, look at all this. It was insane. So we drove that one block and we're all looking at each other like, holy shit, we just, spent 4 hours on a plane to come here to see this. And this is why it's so important to get out of your damn house and go and visit these properties, especially the multifamily. I never really did it so much with the single family homes just because they're all like residential. And there's like, if you're in the middle of a residential neighborhood, how bad could the neighbors' houses be? Property manager is probably going to tell me it's easier to change a single family house. This, to change it, to get the city to come and clean up the trash, like, how are you going to do that? How are you going to be able to change this vacant land and these vacant areas? You're not going to be able to do it. So that's kind of the story, what we saw. After we backed out of this, we kind of were like, told the broker, hey man, we need to back out of this deal, but let's take you to lunch. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to shake your hand. I think we just had a coffee with him, but we'd love to like learn more about you, get some more deals, etc. So we had like 3 days in Detroit, and we ended up using the time by meeting other brokers, meeting property management companies, meeting a ton of different people to kind of figure out where we can get some more deals and more inventory. And that trip ended up being super, super helpful. One, to back out of the deal, just to make sure we're getting ourselves into the right deal. Two, to build more relationships with people on the ground. So, we definitely didn't make it go to waste. We still hung around there, met some different people, met some different folks, and tried to get some deal done, and then also build our network and relationships with these people on the ground. So yeah, we ended up backing out of this deal, and honestly, I'm glad that we did back out of this deal. It felt good to back out of this deal, knowing that we weren't investing into something that we didn't want to own. And it sucked. It was too bad that we were super, super excited to get this 82 units under contract for such a cheap price. But ended up backing out of the deal, made the right decision. We all feel good about it, and now we're looking for more. Thanks so much for staying till the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Click on this next video that YouTube recommends you watch, and I'll see you on the next one.